All right, I'm back. Sorry about the interruption. I'm actually at the pool. So, I just got out of the swimming pool, which is why I look as I do. Whatever. Anyway, I thought it's more important to get you guys the help than worrying about how I look. So we are going to proceed quickly with this. And so where did I leave off before I got interrupted? So you have the product design, right? And the building of the product and the stuff that the engineers do. And then on the other end of it, once the product is ready, obviously it goes to market. And so then you have these product marketing roles, also a very, very common role, and is going to be suitable for anyone who's got marketing experience from any other industry. It really does carry over. As you kind of go from here all the way down, the more you go down towards this side, the more carryover skills from other industries are going to play out really well, right? So the skills for product marketing has to do with the creative aspects of marketing a product, its brand, it's building a brand, it's getting that brand out, it's customer user interface, user design, customer analytics, dealing with customers, customer insights, all those kinds of things. And then even beyond that, you get sales, right? That just pure sales. And at that point, it's even more of a easy carryover, because sales is sales, right? Doesn't matter if you're selling a car. Now, what's really interesting and what really I think is important for our candidates, at least in terms of the type of people who apply our pool, really is the product manager role, right? And the product manager role is a very beautiful middle role that really is perfect for the MBA skill set, also perfect for a lot of other master's skill sets that have to do either STEM degrees. STEM, of course, depending on what STEM you're doing, could also be very suitable for product design and building a product, but certainly the product manager role can also be an option for you. And so with the product manager role, what you get is really, you have to have technical expertise, right? You don't need to be an engineer. You don't need to know how to build a product, but you need to be able to have an excellent technical grasp of how that product is being built, right? The specs, so that when the engineers explain all that to you, you can understand it. Even more importantly, when on the other side you're managing this product and you're getting all this feedback from the user design and customer insights and all of that, you need to be able to take that and translate that stuff and make sure that that gets communicated to the engineers who are building the product. And then it goes the other way too. You have to be able to explain the attributes of the product to everybody that is in front of you on the not in front of you, how do you say, like on the life cycle, the ones that follow, right? So the product marketers and the salespeople also need to be explained too, right? And there you have to be able to take all this technical knowledge and be able to translate it in a non-technical way to non-technical people if you're ever going to get that product sold, right? So you see how it's a beautiful intersection there of, if you've got strong hard skills and quant skills and other technical strengths, but you also have an MBA type skill set, either because you are actually an MBA or a graduate or an MBA student, or because you have that managerial skill set, then the product manager role is really the perfect sweet spot. And it really is the one that you should be going for. So all this to say that read the job description, please, carefully, so that you know that which of these it is. Now, sometimes they will, well, more often than not, it will say, right, that it's product manager, product marketing. The reason that you have to read the job description carefully, even if the title might so-called spell it out, is because very often these things differ, right? So not all product manager roles are created equal. There's a huge variation. I look at hundreds of product manager roles a week, and they can be very different one to the other. And the biggest difference you have to look at, or the thing that you really have to kind of nail down, is how technical it is versus how much more of a marketing aspect or managing aspect there is to it. Some product manager roles are very technical, or it just so happens that the type of product, say it's a special, like a payment product or something, those are very technical products. So by virtue of the fact that it's in that particular vertical, then your product manager role is going to require that you are technically very confident. Even though you may not necessarily be a software engineer, you still need to be technically proficient and confident because of the nature of that particular product. And then some other product manager roles are much looser and just, much more soft skill based, and really it's an easier product to deal with, and so the technical aspect doesn't come into it so much. So that's kind of where you really need to look at those variations, and also bear in mind that even though a product may be called something, it may be called product marketing, but actually when you read it, it's more technical than you expected. Okay, or the other way around, there isn't that much marketing, it's just straight up sales, and that may not be something that is interesting to you. Meanwhile, with the product design roles, you may think, oh, it's product design, I'm not an engineer, I don't need to look at it. But then maybe some of these product design roles, it's called that. In some ways, it's almost like maybe it was someone used that term in a loose way, or in a way that I don't know, in that particular company that was fine, and it turns out that it's actually a very creative design role and does not require you to be a computer scientist. So these are all the things that you would miss out on if you don't look at these roles carefully. If you need help, or if you are and at any point doubting anything, reach out to us and we'll be happy to help you clarify that. And again, I remind you, the reason this is important is because you want to make sure that when you are applying, whether that is your resume or cover letter or networking emails or any other kind of communication you may have with the employer, with the recruiter, that you're adjusting your skill set to match what is needed, right? Well, first of all, that you have this correct skill set that's required, number one, but number two, that you're adjusting it and writing about yourself and putting your best foot forward in a way that matches what that job wants. So that's why it's so important to make sure you understand these different nuances of these product roles. Okay, well, with that, I am going to say goodbye for the weekend, probably.